Well, hello everyone, welcome to Yarkshire Gamer, and I'm just going to do a quick paint review today. Not something that I regularly do on here. I'm quite settled with the paints and types of paints that I use, and I might do a video on that one day. But I'm looking to paint a unit in the future, and they're listed as wearing a pearl grey uniform, and I didn't have any pearl grey. My go-to is normally Vallejo, and they didn't have any pearl grey within their range, so I looked around and I've picked this up. This is Scale Colour Artist, part of Scale 75, I believe. Yes, it is. There we go. And as you can see there, pearl grey. So we're going to have a look at this paint and compare it to some others. First thing to say before we go into the review of the paint itself, some of you, I'll just get it out of the box just to show you what we've got. Lovely presentation box. I'm sure some eco warriors will be mad about that for wastage, but there we go. There's what you get. And I don't know, it hasn't got a size on it that I can see. Let's spray. I'll dig it out and put something in the comments to say what size it is. So before we go on to review the paint itself, as I said, I'm just going to have a quick chat with people about these sorts of paints, these tube-based acrylics that are from artists' shops. Many people who are getting into gaming now will have got most of their painting kit from Games Workshop, from Army Painter, from hobby stores, and top recommendation from me, somebody who's been doing this for a long time now, is get down to your local art store and look at what they've got. Look at their brushes, look at their paints. They're not specific for modelling, but certainly brushes. And if you're regular, you'll know my love for Pro Art paint brushes. They're artist brushes, they're not regularly sold in model shops, and the quality you will get in an artist shop is much better than you will get in a model shop. So there we go. These paints themselves are very long lasting. Here is a tube of bronze imitation Dale Rowney acrylic. This is the best bronze paint I have ever had. I've painted some mighty ancient armies with that, and as you can see, still plenty left. I purchased that the year that my son was born. My son is now 23. So yeah, that's what I would call a lifetime supply. So let's go back and have a look at the paint that we've got. And so obviously there's no shaking up to do. You don't need to mix these paints before you use them. And this is a specific smooth acrylic paint, which we'll have a look at that in a moment to see whether it actually is. But just take the top, you'd use it like a toothbrush, and you'd just squeeze a small amount onto your old bit of MDF or your wet palette if you're that way inclined. And you can see there the colour. I'll just bring a light around so you can get that in more detail. And it's sort of a warm light grey would be the best way of describing it. I can see sort of browny reddy tone in there, just warming it up a little bit. So that's going to be an interesting paint to work with, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But as you can see there, the consistency of the paint is relatively thick. We're going to have a look at coverage in a second, but that's going to go on in one go. There's no mixing, there's no mucking about. So let's get some comparison paints out and we'll have a look at how it flows and how it works on a figure and on some coloured stuff. So here's the bits and pieces that we're going to use just to show you the paint. I've got three different types of paint here. I've got a light grey Model Air from Vallejo. I've got neutral grey from Vallejo. This is the sort of paint that I would normally use. And then obviously we've got our Scale 75 Pearl Grey, which is the reason for this video. We've got a little Perry's box turns upside down just to show us the paints. Then we've got, of course, the best paintbrush in the world, the Pro Arts Proline 101, highly recommended by me. We've got a random figure, undercoated black. I undercoat in black, that's why I'm showing that. So if you undercoat in white, obviously I'd see somebody about that, but I undercoat in black, so that's what we're going to look at. And my trusty Valiant, if you ever remember that, is a cartoon pigeon, a cup that was given to me by my son when he was about 4 or 5, and I've used for paint water ever since. So I've had to put on hold my poor purchase of the new Wargaming painting Portaloo, if you've not seen that, from green modelling green stuff. Anyway, less divergence, more painting. So the air, we're kind of expecting that to be pretty thin. And there we go. Got to just change the camera a little bit, zoom in. So this is really, really watery. We drag that out more or less straight away. The black from the box underneath is coming through. So I'm just going to put a little patch on there. And you can see there with the horse, so just put a little bit more light on that. You can see there, very thin, pretty poor coverage, but that's what you would expect from an airbrush paint. It's meant to go on with an airbrush. But this is kind of what people recommend people do and water down the paints, and I really, really don't understand why. But there we go. That's what the Model Air is, the grey. So let's have a look at our next colour. And I do apologise, I realised I just did the painting bit of the horse off camera. So a little bit of water. And of course chew the brush, because that's the only way to keep a point. So I'll just squeeze a little bit out of here. And needs a shake, so let's give it a really good shake, something I forgot to do. So there we go. There is the model colour grey, and straight away you can see that that's thicker, the way that it's acting, and you know, we've dragged it out quite some distance there, and we're getting pretty decent coverage. There's no it's just starting to do it now as the water seeps into the card, something that you're not going to have with that. So with figures, because there's no absorption. So I'm just going to paint this on next to our previous colour, and you can see there with a single application of the Vallejo, unwatered down obviously, because if you're watering it down it's not going to cover. Single cover, there you go. I think that's very nice. So let's have a look then and compare that with our paint under review, scale colour Pearl Grey. And I'm just going to take this straight out of the top. Obviously, as I said before, there's no mixing. It's in a tube. It is what it is, the way it comes out. And we'll just get some of that on our palette. And straight away, you can see how thick that is. A little bit of water coming off my brush from the cleaning there. That's pretty thick. And good coverage, and I think, you know, a lot of people who are into this watering down thing will water this down quite considerably, but I want a complete coverage on a black undercoat, so I'm going to be using this straight from the pot, as I do with all my stuff. So again, we're just going to give that a little bit of a cover and light up the horse as much as we possibly can. So the pearl grey is actually quite light. It's lighter than I thought it was going to be, but it's an official colour for the uniform that I'm going to do, so we're going to stick with that. And you can see excellent coverage as we have with the neutral grey, and compared to the light see-through thinner coating of the Model Air. So there we go. Highly recommended. I think that in the future, if I do need any more colours, I certainly will give this a shout. I'm just about to get some more yellow. Yellow is always a particularly difficult colour to get because the pigment's always really thin. So I'm going to give the yellows in this Scale Colour Artist paint a go and see how we get on with those. And I'll do a little review on those if they're good. But there we go. I think these paints are very good. I think I paid £3.63 for it, and very good value. That will last me, I would suggest, a very, very long time. Any comments or questions, put them in the notes below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And pardon me. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. Until the next video, see you. After I'd finished recording the video, I realised that I hadn't shown the colours off as they dried, and many of you will realise that colours do dry a slightly different colour to how they appear when they are wet on the figure for the first occasion. So just a quick still here for you to have a look at that shows you the colours with the warm pearl grey on the left.